Hello, and welcome back to Resilient Break Every Shade. It is indeed a joy and a pleasure that you all have joined me this evening, as well as my beautiful guest, Mrs. Arlene Smith.
Good afternoon.
Thank you for being here with us. Now, today she is a resilient lady, and I'm going to share with you my resilient lady and how she has inspired me on my journey, keeping me focused and most of all the respect and honor she gave me as I grew in the field of social work and community service and all of that. So Arlene, thank you for joining me.
It is indeed a pleasure.
Wonderful. Could you tell our viewers a little bit about what you do?
So I'm a person that wears many hats.
Mm-hmm.
So some persons may know me over the years because of the years. Besides a family person, somebody might have known me like the tall lady who works Monto. So some people might just say, oh, the tall lady who used to work Monto. Yes. Some persons may say, the hairdresser girl.
Mm-hmm.
But some persons may also say, oh, my pastor.
Yes.
And some will say, oh, my social worker, she's my social worker. So as we journey through life, there are many stages and many phases,
Yes.
but all a process.
Beautiful.
So I am so privileged to wear that multifaceted hat. I'm no longer a hairdresser, no, neither do I work Monto.
Yes.
But I still had the honor of meeting and fulfilling my purpose with every chapter.
Beautiful, and I think along that journey of all those different capacities, you also have been a blessing to people along that path who would have remembered how that would have been the constant. That no matter what your role was, you were a blessing and an inspiration to people along that journey.
That I thank God. I think it's a gift of love.
It is.
It's a gift. Because as I think back, wherever I have passed, I have left an imprint, not intentional by myself, but all part of God's plan for my life, that every step I can re-step and welcome.
And now that's something to commend.
Yeah.
A lot of people cannot say that, or someone would have passed and then you would hear so many negatives. But truly, I know that you have been a blessing wherever you are. And presently, you are a blessing on that Saturday get together that you have for both men and women, where you impact lives by teaching us how to live holistically. Could you tell the viewers a little more about that?
So about it, it's about the holistic man, the holos. In Greek, the word is holos, well-being. You can't separate a man from their experiences. So the life skills, whatever God has blessed me with, I give it back free to my community. So you cannot separate the biological function from someone's psychological, from their social and spiritual functioning. So the purpose of the life skills is giving persons the opportunity to tap into their whole being and to improve every area of their facet and function.
Yes. And it's so good that even the men join in.
Yeah, the men are, the men are committed. They are
Kudos to
committed.
that. And I try to set my day up that no matter what I'm doing, I can still hear. Even if I can't speak, I can still hear. So a woman who would have journeyed so much in life and come across so many different people, I know your resilient story would be one that would really, really impact others as well. Could you share with us your resilient story? One of your resilient
But I'm not going to say there are so many that we could be here till next year this
Yes.
time. But one of this that in the area of my capacity to give back to the community, we have to understand that first that God is an excellent God.
Yes.
And everything He does is the perfect image of excellence. It's that the rubric.
Yes.
That's the blueprint. And even for us as believers, we shall also strive for excellence in whatever we do.
Daniel had an excellent spirit. Always remember that. Yes.
So I remember in 2009, I was just asking God, who am I? And most of my life skills start with that concept of who am I? and asking God going through that, and He presented the opportunity to me. So I remember when you were just struggling with, being a young believer, wanting to surrender all to God, still going through your challenges, and I had the encounter that changed my life forever.
Wow.
What was that encounter? I tell persons is meeting an intercessor. I respect intercessors. I love intercessors because they are the engine room of heaven. They who take the petition of the prayer. They are the travelers who brings your message. They are the messengers with the beautiful feet. And I remember going to I went to Apostle Vivian Duncan. He had in English 500 in 2010, he had a community outreach in the Village Plaza. And he spoke on 98.1 about having this encounter, prophetic encounter. So I went unclear of what does that mean. So I went there, going up in the prayer line for prayer. And I remember when the woman looked up at me, I'm very tall. So she looked up at me and she said, "You don't even know who you are." And she laughed. I don't know what she looks like, but I could still see the laugh of her pushing back her head, and I am uncertain what does that mean. And then she told me the Lord said to go back to school. And I say, go back to school? Well, you see, you have to understand when you came second to last throughout your primary school, and then in secondary school you was a C student. Wow. The subject that you made B was in art. When you were that person that graduated with one subject, a 2 in art, and then it took you 4 years thereafter to achieve the other 5 subjects. When someone say go back to school, it is not the best and easiest thing you will digest.
And let me interject. I am amazed here in that part of your story now, because knowing you, I always saw you as a university graduate, and you are so fluent with the things that you share and how you impact, and you relate so well. Honestly, I always see you as this well educated from beginning going all the way up.
I remember I honor my parents. My mother sacrificed as a seamstress to send me to a private school to get the subjects. And the first year I went, I failed. And I remember Mr. Ramkilawan at Cuba Private Grammar. He said, "Arlene picked." I was picked then, and he said, "There's something great in you." And he gave me the look that the intercessor gave me. So I think like, why are they
look of who you are?
They just pull back the curtain. And I remember Mr. Ramkilawan giving me a free year education, and that year I felt like, I did was I really don't talk race, because God has opened doors for me with all race.
Yes.
So fast forwarding into back to 2010, now she's looking at me in a similar look. And she said that the race is not for the swiftest, but those who endure to the end. And the very next day, I said, "Arlene, what are you good at?" She said, "Go back to school." I said, "Well, everybody always telling me the problems." So I say, better do psychology or counseling. Everybody. I said, "Well, you tell me the problems." Again, the salon life and women coming and being vulnerable and sharing. So I say, counseling. When I called Open Campus, they said the last day to bring in your documents is tomorrow. Well, that for me was, this had to be good. So I took my documents, very embarrassed, because remember I told you it's a lot of failure.
Yes.
So even when I get the 5 subjects that they say,
you have
to look for it among forests and trees. And it wasn't looking too groomed. It wasn't looking like the Garden of Eden. It was looking like bush. Like when they say again the tree.
And if you look well enough, you might miss it.
Yeah, you'll miss it. And I remember she spread my paper on the table there, and she looked at me like, like really. And she said, "We'll call you for an interview." She said, "We have a space in social work." I said, "Well, okay," because I say counseling. I wasn't certain the concept of social work, but I say counseling. And when I went, I remember the facilitator who was doing the interview asked me, what made you feel you could do this? Because married 4 children, my daughter was a year. So you have 4 children, my son writing an essay, they spread out my paper, and then I'm feeling totally embarrassed. But with the faith that I have, when you're a young believer,
that's
full of
yeah.
full of I said, "I will see you for graduation." I said that with certain, because when I got the prophetic word, I'm uncertain if she gave me that word or what I can, but Philippians 4:13. I can do all things. I say, God, if you say, God, I ask you, who am I? And if you say, and I started the program, and I tell persons, I remember the first course was on English for academic purposes. I wasn't too good with English. I didn't like to read. And I remember my son who was in SCA, he will show me how to do a book report, how to read. And so amazing, we have in this interview today, and I was looking at a video conversation and having didn't like to read, had challenges with reading. And I remember the first book that I started to read was Understanding the Purpose of Woman by Miles Monroe. And I started to read, and you had to take your time. But I eventually got there, but there were many words that I didn't know. And my son showed me how to highlight it. My Bible is always highlighted now from that principle, highlighting the words and going into Google and hearing the pronunciation. And I tell you, as I sat in that English class, uncertain of, can I do this, can I read, but I will put on top of the page, I can do all things through Christ.
Amen. The word.
Through all things through Christ who strengthens me. And I walked out of open campus with the English that I struggled with, but I got a B plus and all the rest A's. And something inside of me, for the first time, I'm getting A's and distinctions, and something bright. And I started, when expand my territories. Yes. Expand me. And I went into main campus and doing the degree. And everything that I learned, I will give back to the community. So I don't know if you remember in the salon, anything I learned, I'm teaching everybody. Everybody is a social worker. And as I learn things, I will put it into practice. And I said, God, if I could master these principles, if I could truly love people, if I could be truly confidential, all the principles of social work, I said, if I become it, it will be who I am. So I don't have a problem with confidentiality because I said, if I become it. So I live by these principles now that, listen, you're not going to see me like the social worker that people just know. I pride myself with the principles, allowing persons to purposely. And yes, I failed, that the course that I failed and there will be setback. But even when I say, but God, but how the scripture ain't working, I can do all things, but I failed. But I started to realize different levels and glory of God.
Yeah.
Delayed but not denied. Set
All
back
part of the
for purpose.
process.
Yeah, all part. Set back to be set up. Because what I thought was my downfall, what I thought was my setback, because I mean to say, by this time I had to give up my job. To walk this walk-up process is sacrificial. I gave up my job. To this day, I thank God for my husband. I say, Dad, how did you agree to something like that? It had to be God. Because it's a loss of earning, 4 children, you're struggling. There were days that I went to class and you're eating the $5 pie. So I tell people, process comes with sacrifice. And what people doesn't see is the making of a man. They see the presented man, and sometimes they say, I like that, that was lucky, but they don't see the making, they don't see the midnight hours, they don't see the sacrifice, they don't see the days they don't know what they're going to eat, they don't see the days. But while I was doing that, I was just giving and giving back. So I tell persons, even when I'm doing the life skills now, and you see it, it is not a now-come thing, but it has been for the past 10 years.
Yes, because it's over 10 years.
Yeah, going to different communities and just giving back.
School,
going to the school, going to schools in South, going to different geographic in community of interest and community of geographic locations, and just giving back from what you learn. And as God increased my capacity, I give back according to that. So today, when persons say, oh my God, you're so fortunate, I need to say, God, just blow my mind. And so many things I could tell you all, kingdom, so many stumbling blocks, but it was the blocks that propelled me to the next level. And you know, even there were persons that hate you without cause. But God was building resilience. So I tell you, even the persons who, I am certain they may have asked themselves, why did I put a block in her way? Now I am respected by my peers because they saw resilience. I remember one of my lecturers when I got ordained, officially, you know, when I got ordained and I invited her and she said, you know, one thing you have been constant with is in character. And so sometimes you don't even know that people are looking in and they are looking on at your responses.
And character is when you do the right thing whether they are looking or not.
Oh, correct. So I tell you this much, for someone who is out there today and you may just be thinking, is it too late? It's not too late. You are right on time. You see, you were born as a solution to a problem.
Amen.
And you can only become the solution when the problem has arisen. So you can't go before the time because there will be no need
for you at
that time. But there's a people that you are called to. There's someone like that you have to be impacted and you have to be prepared for that such time. And I thank God that this is the time. And how important it was in revealing your destiny. God does things in perfect and excellence. So I had a gift, but he knew he needed to refine it. So he sent me back to university, all the way up to my master's. I'm soon to start my PhD. But in the refining, because he knew the population I need to go to. So when I'm doing the life skills, some of the persons in my audience, if I was not refined, I wouldn't know the language. I wouldn't know how to meet the needs. Because, you know, he told Jeremiah that you were born for such a time. You know, he said, I knit you in your mom. Right, he knit you. And he said that I've called you to go before kings and queens. For you to go before kings and queens, you have to be refined. You can't go grassroots. No. You have to know how to sit. You have to know, like with a sister in the Lord, when I went to a house and I said, Sister Allison said, let's have tea. And myself and Sister Isabel. And when I sat there for us to have tea, and they sat up. Sister Allison and Isabel, they sat up. And their little pinky finger went out. And they hold a little teacup. With a little pot of tea. And they sat. And our conversation and our posture. So I realized when God is preparing you for a people, he has to cultivate you. Amen. So he puts you in the environment that produces your best outcome. So, you know, I do hope that this has blessed someone. So no matter what you are going through or been through, is to produce your best outcome. Not mine, not yours, but your best outcome for your purpose. So I give God thanks for this opportunity.
Wow, what a resilient story from beginning. And I can't say end because it's going on. But before we go, would you share with us, I ask each of my guests to tell us, what does freedom mean to you?
A life in Christ.
Praise the Lord.
A relationship. All I tell you this, it's liberty. As your relationship with him for me, I am who I am because of him. He teaches me everything in parenting, in my relationship, in my marriage, in my intimate life. I just want more of him. So freedom for Arlene Smith is in a relationship with Christ, no apology. I said, if he divorced me, you will see how much defect I have. But with him, I am so amazed. I'm in awe.
Oh my God. And I'm in awe of what God has done in and through your life. I pray that God will continue to use you, expand your territories. And Dr. Arlene Smith, because I know you're going to get that PhD.
For his glory. For his glory. I will do anything. For his glory.
And one of my favorite songs. In fact, I consider it my anthem. For his glory. All that we do is not by might, it's not by power, and it's for his glory. Because in him we live and move and have our being. And this has been a God moment.
Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Thank you guys for joining us. In fact, I know you are blessed, and I know what we do is share blessings. So at Resilient Break every chain, after listening to Arlene, it was all about sharing the blessing, right? So you're going to be sharing this video, sharing this testimony with so many people who need to know it is not over. No matter how it looks right now, it is not over. And if you can just turn it over to God, and he can change that situation, use it for his glory, and your life will indeed be blessed. God bless you. Love you until we come again. I promise you 5 resilient ladies, so we have one more to come. God bless you. And bye for now.